though. I got Plugin Alliance. You got Plugin Alliance plugins? Those ones like $14 a month. I'm about to go into my second year on that. They give you like a rack of plugins for like a mix and master bundle for $15. If you don't get waves or anything like that, this will give you everything you need, man. I'm telling you, it's like if you had like any DAW and you paid just $15 a month, you'll get it. So like right now, I'm like a slave to it though because all my mixes got that in there, and if I don't pay the money, I have to buy the plugins. And the plugins, each plugin is like $200 or $300 each, but you get like say 100 of those plugins are like super good quality, but you kind of like rent them. And then at the end of the time, they give you a voucher too. You could pick like $100, $200 worth of stuff free. Mm-hmm. But after that, like there's no way you won't get all the stuff you use because the stuff's really good.
Yo, can I ask you a question, Bri?
Yeah.
What do you prefer to make music with? Fucking with the iPad or the computer?
Well,
like if you had a choice, because obviously we have multiple options and hardware and different things, but because you strike me as more of a computer person.
So I am mostly because all my stuff finishes out in Pro Tools by mixing. So I try to give it like a high level, high resolution mixes out to my clients, and then at the same time I use like analog plugins and analog gear. So I'm summing out mixes. I'm going through like 500 rack analog compressors and stuff like that. So like for me to really be flexible with my output. And it's mostly vocals for clients. Most people send me stems. I'll either have stems or a 2-track beat, but it'll be a bunch of vocals. And that way, then it's really easier on the computer because I'm editing like every single breath out. I'm lining up the chorus. On the chorus, I'm cutting out all the little spaces in between the words. I'm cutting like one syllable and lining it up to the next one. I'm doing, and then plus I wear glasses now.
I'm with you.
I mean, even on the computer, but it's like a bigger screen though. So like the level of detail that I need to get to, and like I'm cutting on a sample level. So like out of 48,000 samples per second is like my cut level. Mm-hmm. So like for that level of precision, I can't really get it on the iPad. Now I like making music on the iPad though, and so the ESPI 1200 got me on the iPad more than anything. But then I have a beat I just did in Beatmaker 3 recently, and I always had Cubasis 2. Cubasis 2 kills on the iPad and Beatmaker. I was on 2 and then 3. Always Korg Gadget. I haven't messed with it lately. But, so like my old iPad. Yeah.
If you could bring Pro Tools and everything you love on that, besides the small screen, what would you prefer then? Like if it was as precise, the iPad.
Well, so to tell you the truth, right now, I think I could. So if I took a trip and just wanted to like record a song, like do a record with somebody, but still travel light, I'd take like my microphone, maybe my 500 rack, a sound interface, and my iPad. I wouldn't necessarily even think about making a final mix and master on the spot. I'd make it like a rough mix and master, but you could totally do that on an iPad with no problem. I don't use. I think like Aria, I'm not sure which one is like just a mixer only, but I just do it in Cubasis or like Beatmaker 3. But more than likely, if it's just a vocal session, Cubasis all day, Cubasis 2. Use those Waves plugins. Maybe if I buy a couple extra ones for like $20 or $30, which is dirt cheap, and then put L2 limiter on the output and then send it out.
I'm so glad you said that because I was about to go and buy another compressor off the App Store just for this little workflow I got in mind, only to remember that I got that Waves bundle in Cubasis too.
It kills, get it. Yeah, it's a real deal. I mean,
I have it. I've had it for the longest. I just don't use
it's a lot. You forget, right?
Mm-hmm. I barely use the iPad now. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
So you can do a whole record on the live too, though. So the MPC is kind of like the same thing as an iPad to me.
Hell yeah.
So if I rolled out, I could like get my 500 rack in MPC, cut up to 8 tracks of vocals, and then roll with that. For the most flexibility and portability, I go with the iPad, hands down. Then my iPad's always been an extension to the studio. I mean, I have like a room, and I have my mics and stuff like that down here, so I have like all my hardware. But I have like a MIDI in and out. I have the Griffin sound dock. So if I need more sounds, I use it for sounds. If I need an effects module, I'll just plug up effects on the iPad and just run it in and out straight through there.
But the crazy thing is, even with the MPC, right? Like technically, you have 8 audio tracks, right? Technically, right? But if you record one of those audio tracks and you just take that and you just bounce it to a pad, you got as many audio tracks as you want.
Yeah.
It's sort of like resampling,
Yeah.
Well, it's not even,
I
yeah.
used to
I
do
mean, you
that
can
with
just save the
Machine.
wave and load it to a pad. It just puts it like on a different assignment. It's exactly what you're saying. So like you can have a 16 bank of vocals that are really like all vocals, and then just make it all start at one.
Yep.
You know, you can make your song start at one and just play it straight through. And each one, you can even pad edit each one and do pad, per pad effects on the MPC.
Right. Yeah.
And then have 8 more tracks to cut.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You just keep dumping, bouncing down, and you don't lose no quality. I used to, when I had Machine, that's the only thing I didn't like about Machines, because like it didn't have real live audio tracks. Like you had to like work around to make it. So if I was playing like live bass on something, I would literally play live bass. I recorded to a pad. You know what I'm saying? Like I would just sync it up so the pad would start sampling exactly at the 1 of the beat, even if I ain't start playing to the 8th bar or something like that. And then then I would just literally just trigger it, and I might chop the pad up bar by bar. So like if I want to start like on like the 16th bar of the song, like it could start there and the bass line is still playing. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like it's not, So the options, honestly, options like that we have now, crazy. You know what I mean? Like I hate when I hear people like complaining, talking about, oh, but you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm like, nah, son, you can't do this, because you don't know what you're doing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it's.
I started on like tape, like on cassette tapes. So like on like 4-track cassettes, I was making like whole records, and then after that, I bought my first reel-to-reel like around like 1990. I had an 8-track reel-to-reel. I made so many albums. I mean, I moved to Michigan and rocked out in Detroit for like 2 or 3 years. I made like albums for like 6, 7, 8, like 9 whole like artists and labels. Hundreds of songs. Like I say probably like over 500 or 600 songs just with that one little 8-track rig. And that's like music on like 3 or 4 tracks and then vocals on 4 tracks.
Making it work. That's where it comes from.
Facts.
Making it work.
Yeah. Facts. Yo, the
beautiful shit about it.
The new sampler I got, the tracker. I didn't even know like it had like limited like sample time. You get like 90 seconds of sample time. Like
that's not bad.
That's a lot though.
That is great. Cause I know what I could do with 90 seconds. Like you know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I think people they got too many options now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's and everybody wants everything that everybody want to everybody want to be perfect on day one. You know what I'm saying? So they don't like no. Everybody wants to skip the part where you trash. Like you can't skip that part.
Right. That's what teaches you.
Yeah. Forces you to be innovative when you have less. You know what I'm saying? Options.
Yeah, it
does, man. Forces you to be creative.
Yeah.
And it really shows how bad you want it. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not talking about how bad you want a career in a field. It just shows how bad you want to actually improve. Like, I keep it a buck. I go back to a lot of my old beats sometimes. I still got my old hard drives. I still got old CDs that I burnt. Them beats are horrible. Them mixes are garbage. You know what I'm saying? But you couldn't tell me at the time I wasn't fucking motherfucking Pharrell Baland. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me. You couldn't tell me.
You had to get there to get here, though. We all had to get there.
It
was something you have to go through, though. So like that's your 10,000 hours or whatever they call it. But
you
have to
your
go
10,000 hours
to the right. You have to get through to get to mastery.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I said it's the same thing lyrically too. I mean, everybody, you ain't coming out spitting like Hove and Pac and Biggie right out the gate. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Because but it's going back to being innovative. Like I remember some of the joints me and Sis even did back in the day was on a dollar store microphone. I know we've talked about it on the podcast.
Not one of them, pretty much all of them shits.
That microphone was like the size of a marker.
Facts. It was just a skinny little. Yeah,
like the Bob Barker joint? The price?
Nah. It looked like that, but it was like literally a dollar store curved little computer mic.
No, only reason I say that
because
I got one of the Bob Barker joints in the crib. It's a mic supposed to. You couldn't, like I said, one time you could not tell me I was not running Daddy's house studio, so I got the mic to measure the frequencies. so I can tune the room or tune my system towards the room or whatever.
Yeah.
So I get it, man. I get it. I mean, shit.
Yeah, it ain't what you need, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't what you need. Is how you use what you got.
Yeah, that's a whole fact.
That's an old hook by Cypha Omni, by the way.
Nah, it's a whole fact. Like, yo, I mean, like, you think about it, right? If you was recording a song, right, and you ain't have a, quote unquote microphone. Say you had an iPad and you had an iPhone. That's all you had. The beat was on your iPad, and all you had was your iPhone. Bro, you could just dead ass just put your phone, like, record into the bottom of the phone, right, and then just airdrop them vocals you just recorded to your iPad. Boom. Now, would it be a little janky? Fuck yeah, it would be. But you know what? You gonna learn your system, and you gonna learn how to make it work. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be like, and people be like, yo, how you record it? And you'll be like, man, if I told you, you wouldn't even believe it. And then, nah, you lying. You don't be making these songs like that. You be like, yeah, and I guarantee you, like, and I'm not saying like everybody should go out and like limit themselves to something like this, but I'm saying is like, if this was your situation, there's somebody out there that's like, yo, damn, like I'm in a situation I don't want to be in, and they got limited resources. You know what I'm saying? Like, you make the most of them limited resources, man. Oh man, like to me,
sometimes
like,
that's where you get some of the best sounds.
Yo, because you in there, and you just grinding, and you just trying to make it work. Like, yo, I remember my first sample I had, or the second sample I had. Like, they told me I could expand the memory, but I was too shook to open the box up back then and put the little what's it, SODIMM or SIM cards, the DIM cards in. And so I think I maybe had like 15 seconds or 20 seconds, I don't know how much time, but it wasn't a lot. So I literally used to just, like, I remember hearing about people speeding up the samples and slow them down. So I would just speed the shits up, slow them down, speed them up, slow them down, speed them up. And eventually, like, you get the beat done and you be like, yo, this shit is crazy. And I remember people be like, yo, it sound like a little, like, rough. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's the last thing you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, after you don't put so much work into it and somebody try to tell you, like, oh, it don't sound good. Be like, fam, like, I know the difference between it don't sound good and it sounds facts, you know, and it sounds different than what you used to, like, you know what I mean, like you know. But I don't.
Rough is what they're trying to make now. All those drip plugins make it sound rough on purpose now.
Facts.
Yeah, and that's the funny part. Yeah, that's the funny part. I was gonna say, shout out to the people that like me back in the day that recorded at places wherever you could even get. If somebody had a microphone and a computer somewhere, that's where you went. If it was in the shower. You know what I'm saying? Look, one thing I did, I took a cardboard box. I cut this cardboard box in half. This was my first attempt of even trying to have a booth. I was in a 1-bedroom apartment. And I took that cardboard box, I stuffed my microphone in through the top and nailed it to the wall. That way I could stand up and get up underneath that box.
Some sound isolation up in that joint.
And you know what it also did? I mean, it looked crazy as hell, but I had brothers coming to that apartment coming over there like, hey, man, this will work. You know what I'm saying? But they had a hard time because what it also taught me was to have your joints already memorized and ready to go before you skid it, because this box wasn't that big. It was just nailed to the against the wall. You couldn't stick your notepad up in there and try to put a light up in there at the same time. It wasn't happening. You know what I mean? So I mean, yeah, man. So don't have any shame in your game on how you try to innovate and make your music and your projects out here, ladies and gentlemen. Because whatever it takes to make it work is whatever it's going to take for you to make it work, man.
Yep.
Shit, ain't no shame in how you do it. I've been in some pretty precarious situations with just trying to record a track. So let me put it that way, and in certain places too. You know what I'm saying? So,
I've been struggling. We didn't all like been in a bang bang studio.
Yeah, but
I mean, a lot of
that's it,
questionable and nefarious activities.
So if you use all that, like an iPhone, like pretty much like since the second year iPhone's coming out, it beats all that equipment.
Yeah.
So even if you use the phone mic, even if you use your phone and wrapped into your phone, holding it like this, it'd be better than everything we just talked about. If you use the iPhone, say starting at the iPhone, what, 5?
6, 5.
And right. Anything from that, any iPad pretty much, you know, so this iPad I have now is like it kills everything I've had before, you know, the 2000s era, bro. As far as power and flexibility, and then you could just pick it up and carry it. Come on.
Yeah, facts. Like the studio literally weighs a pound now.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? He's like I don't know, man. But
yeah, I remember loading up a whole car just to carry stuff around, man. My studio used to be like a backseat of my car and a trunk.
Yo,
and that's when I was like living in apartments, you know. See,
I was fortunate. Like I think I caught like the very tail end of the quote unquote analog era, and and I caught like when it was converting over. So I always say like all of us that was born in that was in that late 70s and 80s era. We caught the best. We caught the best of everything because we caught the very end of like the big butt TVs and the very beginning of the little slim joints. You know what I mean? So we understood VCRs and DVD players. You know, or we shit. You keep it a buck. We went from VCRs to DVRs. You know what I mean? And just to be able to like navigate. I don't know. Just like. I remember my grandmother being like, "Baby, you got to program this VCR for me. I can't do this." You know what I mean? And I was like, "Nah, beep 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 beep, bang, we in there, Young and the Restless. You got it. You know, every day it's on there for you. You know what I mean?" I remember being in a cab. I had my Discman, and the cabbie was like, and I was listening to it at the headphones. Mad rude, you know what I mean? Because there was other people in the car with me, but I had to have my headphones up. I had them blaring loud so everybody could hear it, or but still mad rude, you know what I mean? But the cabbie was like, "Yo, I can play your tape." I was like, pause, stop, pop.
Open that.
It's a CD. Mad thirsty. Fucking Snoop Dogg. It's fucking doggy style at that.
That's hilarious.
They skip. Remember they had a little skip buffer on it? Like if you hit a bump, it's like,
yeah.
It's a third generation.
That was revolutionary at the time, right?
Right.
Yo, let me tell you.
Car skip the first year when they had car joints.
Yeah.
Like the first couple years when car CDs were out, it was like, oh no, man.
That shit coming out looking like you just took that CD, put it on the concrete, and just skated.
I skated with that motherfucker.
Having a CD player in your car back in the day made you avoid potholes at all costs.
Yo,
it did. And when you hit that pothole and you had one of your favorite CDs in or something, you would be like, man.
Remix.
Exactly. I was about to say the same shit. That is like, yo, if you want to
use track on those first joints.
You was on the highway in New York.
A whole another one.
If you was on the highway in New York, all you ever heard was remix. Shit, even in the street, all them damn fucking potholes we used to have back in the day.
Man.
Yo, any of y'all fuck with Samplewiz too?
What's that?
A new app. I didn't even mess with Samplewiz one. Blease and Jay. How you say?
Oh yes. I know what you're talking about.
Blease,
yes. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was beta testing that joint.
He's cool too.
What you know about that?
It's like a multi-sampler or whatever. I wouldn't.
What's it called again?
Use Samplewiz. I wouldn't use it to like. I wouldn't use it to chop samples or nothing like that. Like I would use it like. Remember the sampler in what's that, Zen Beats? The joint where like you could sample anything and turn it into an instrument. It's kind of like that because like when you go to start zooming in on the sample, it's like it's not as precise as like maybe Beatmaker 3 or something like that. Like it's the one with like the matte with the big lines on the sample. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, as a sampler, it works. You know what I'm saying? If you find a sound, you got a synthesizer or you got something you want to throw in there, it works just fine. But I wouldn't use it for like I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm about to
make a beat and Samplewiz.
Yeah. You're not about to like recreate College Dropout with Samplewiz. I mean, if you do like that, you talk about limitations and challenges. Yeah,
Word.
There you go. Yeah, if you're trying to do that type of sampling in there, you're gonna have a hard time. But it's a good multi-sampler though.
But peep this out. You got MPE on here though. So I'm looking at it now, right? And Jordan Rudis, he does stuff with the instrument. You know, he does a lot of MPE stuff, and the instrument's MPE too. So I would get this. I think I might even get this app for 19. It's kind of high.
Doesn't he do Geo Shred and all of them?
Yeah. So what I'm
Yeah,
thinking is, so if you could resample instruments, right? I might be able to resample the instruments that are in like Beatmaker 3 or Cubasis or whatever.
How much
But then
is it,
make it
Brian?
MPE.
It's
$19.
$19.99.
$20.
Yeah.
20
But if you make it
bucks. And
MPE,
it's
that'll make it
got
worth
the
it, though.
MPE preset pack for $4.
Yeah, I'd get that.
I got it on my iPad now.
It's not a lot of MPE stuff, and this looks like it might be pretty good.
Yeah, I love the MPE shit. What's
Animo does MPE good.
the shit I use for that is
Oh, that keyboard, right? KB1 or something like that?
Yeah, but also, damn it. It's noise. I don't know.
Rolly?
Oh,
The app.
Seaboard app?
Nah, I don't have the Seaboard.
Rolly
but
Blocks.
There's an app by
Yeah.
Rolly. Is it
Noise.
a Seaboard app?
Noise. They got the Noise app.
that's it.
They got mad sounds in there, and
Where
then they
you
got
can use
another
that
one.
shit.
I think it works as a controller or something too, like that.
Yeah. I haven't messed with that in a while. I should get back into that.
It's pretty cool.
Have you messed with your with your 404 yet? Like, or we still under wraps?
Come on.
No, I definitely have been, and I'm. It's mixed for me. Like I have a lot of complaints. Yeah, because at first I fell in love with it, and I was like, oh shit, I might potentially get rid of all my shit and just stick with this. And then I was like, I started playing with it.
Breaking news.
The firmware update broke my shit, first of all, because now I'm crashing when I'm chopping samples. I have to do like a whole workaround just to keep my sample. It'll crash, and I'll play video for the listeners. If you hit the link in the description, there's video. I'm gonna play some video in here to show you what happens as I'm chopping and I go to save it. It just restarts the whole SP, and when the project reloads, the sample's gone, the chop's gone, even the sample's gone.
No.
So you know how sometimes we are. I just grab a sample from a fucking commercial or something, and I don't know the name, I don't know the info, but I know the sample's fire, and now that sample's gone.
It's gone. Yeah, that.
You talking about standalone
that's
mode?
tough.
All by itself,
Huh?
It does all that. It does all that in standalone mode.
The SP, yeah, like
Oh
yeah,
man, that sucks.
yeah, because I don't hook it to the computer. I'm not bothered.
come on.
I play that shit, but it's a lot of little things. Here's where my disappointment comes. Roland gave these shits out to so many people a whole year before it dropped. And I'm like, the amount of people I see that have that shit on YouTube and social media, I was surprised because I'm like, wow, they're not going to make a whole lot of money. They gave half their inventory away. One. Two, you guys didn't work out the kinks? Did you
Yeah,
guys
that's what I
tell
was
them
like,
any?
yeah.
It's little stupid, and you guys know me. I'm not one to complain. I'll make shit work. I like that. Like that's what I love about, a piece of equipment. You gotta make it work. Old school equipment. You could only chop 16 chops. You can't so if I want to fill bank B with another 16 from the same sample, you can't do it.
Actually,
But it's just a lot of little stupid shit that I'm like, man, why didn't they do this, get this right? Or why couldn't they do that? Like, what else?
Drop the ball on the obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me change my mind because now I'm like, you know what? Because I consider my SP404 I consider that an effects machine.
I was going to ask you about that.
And a looper too,
I was
like
gonna
a
ask you-
performer.
I was gonna ask you about that. The older 404. Cause like I was like this close like this week to being like, cause like with the tracker, I want like some external effects. You know what I mean? So I figured it out because I figured out how to just use the iPad like for the live effects and stuff like that. But like with the 404, like if you run an audio into it, right? Can you then use like the live effects to affect like the incoming audio as opposed to like just
That's what I was doing constantly because I love to throw effects on my shit before I even push record.
So even like the joint that's like cause it has like a like one of the joints where it's like a beat stutter or something like that. Like if I hit it, it's like like so I could potentially send MIDI from something else to like sync the clocks so that the rhythmic
fucked with
effects.
I don't know. I
Okay.
haven't fucked with MIDI like that on that.
Okay. Cause the way I was thinking was like, yo,
But
it'd
I
be
think
dope.
you can.
It should. I mean, theoretically, it should work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was thinking like, you know, if it'd be dope if the SP you could use that, you know, for like, especially like the rhythmic effects, like, you know, like delays and the stutter and the beat chop or whatever, like whatever the joint is called.
Yeah, you know what? You can do that. Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it.
I done seen some. I done seen
That's
some.
the whole point. Yeah, that's why people love those SPs. But I will say, I do think they did a better job with the new one. I just think a couple of little stupid things could have been fixed because it has way more on it than the A does.
See, you know, it's kind of messed up to me. Like you said, they like the joint, like mad people had them, right? And everybody was saying, well, they listened to the community, they listened to everybody that they sent them to, but how is it still messed up?
And a lot of little stupid things, like a lot of little things that are crucial. Like I'm mad because I should have wrote them down as I was playing with it, because now I can't. You know, of course.
Nah, I mean,
But,
like, yeah, I get it though.
What else fucked with me last night too? I was playing with it, and I was just like, I actually came to the I was like, you know what? This is now another performance machine for me only. Like basically, yeah. I'm never gonna sit down and try to make a beat on there. I'm just going to either be transferring things onto that shit, or just for my live playing. Even DJ, you know, it's a DJ's dream.
See, that's whack to me, because like,
That's crazy.
you know what I mean?
Because
They like, not for nothing.
Yeah.
Like the way they push the joint out, right? Like with and especially when you looking at it, because like every time I see the joint, I'm like, yo, that joint looks so nice, and I be like so tempted. I see the joint on eBay every day, and somebody got an high price for it somewhere. I be like, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. You know, but like the way they put like the 16 pads on it, or the 17 pads actually, you know, because you got the sub pad too, I think,
Sub
right?
pad.
And they gave you they gave you like the velocity sensitive pads and stuff like that. It gave you a sense like, yo, this joint could be like a little MPC in my book bag, and then you could run it on a power bank. Like, I don't know, son.
I don't know.
It's
I'm gonna play with
disappointing.
it some more, but I feel me like last night. It hit me like, nah. I don't think I'm gonna sit here and make a beat on this. You know what I mean? Because I remember I did the first week of menu diving, because it's so much to learn on that machine. So the first week I was just watching, playing, you know. And now it's just like, oh, it's annoying. There's a lot of little things that, like, I don't know. Something was bothering me in the pattern mode too.
I saw something in a review I read somewhere, and some dude was like, it was a review, I think it was on like Sweetwater or B&H, and the review dude was basically like, he wanted, well, I assume it's a man, wanted to get a SP for 10 years, but always held out, right? And so when the MK2 came out, he pre-ordered. It was on Sweetwater, matter of fact. He pre-ordered and got it, and he basically said that like right now, where the firmware is, this can't be like the final. This can't be like the final version. Because he was like, it's not conducive to workflow. Like you'll be doing certain things, and he's like, you got to take like 3 steps back just to get to like the main screen, only to take another 3 steps forward to get to the next thing that you want to do, or something like that. Yeah,
it's not easy. It's not a simple machine. Like I'm still like, okay, let me go look. Like I have notes next to me, notes.
Man.
But you know, once you get it down. But I've been playing with it all week. I've been putting in work on that shit, and it's just not. It's looking like it's gonna be, like I said, a performer for me. I'm not gonna sit down and construct the whole beat on that. I'm not.
Yeah, that's disappointing. You know what I mean? Like at least at this point, you know what I mean? Like that's disappointing. You know, but I'm fairly certain that they'll fix like the bugs. You know, especially considering that they can.
You know, I was pissed. I was like, you know what? I'm selling this shit. You know what? Fuck this. But then I thought about that, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put it right here, and I'm gonna give it a chance and wait for more firmware updates and shit. But there's also a video going around. I don't know, you know, I thought it was clickbait, and it says Roland is gonna start charging for firmware. Watch. So I watched it, and The guy was like, he made some valid point. No, he had no proof. Don't get it twisted. There was no solid proof that he knows this, but he made valid points as to why he thinks they are about to do that. And I'm going to look it up and send it to you. I kind of like believe him a little bit. Like, but then a piece of me is like, if you start charging for firmware.
Nah, they'll single-handedly kill like they whole fan base, their whole user base. At least for the SPs.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, and if they're gonna do it for the SPs, what's gonna stop them from doing it for everything else?
Everything.
But you know what that's gonna spur is like the same thing with the
Everyone's
MPC.
gonna start doing it, yeah.
With the MP, that. But
That'd be
like,
a new level.
But
they can't do that.
Nah, see that would like, not for nothing.
Because you know how it goes.
Trash.
It's one company that starts that shit, and then the next company is like, well, hey, look, we can make money off that too. Let's do it too. And then before you know it, everyone's doing it.
Well, listen, you want to know something?
Because it's a competitive space.
Yeah, because everybody's trying to squeeze every dollar that they can out of their
yeah, because are you
demo.
really gonna go and skip out on the new MPC or the new Roland product to go get a machine or let me not shit on machine, that was horrible, but you know what I mean, to go get something that is giving it, like, you know what I mean? So let's say machine decides to keep giving their firmware free and everyone else doesn't. Are you really gonna skip out on buying all that equipment and go straight to machine only because of that? No, I doubt it.
Well,
highly unlikely.
I you know what? I beg to differ.
You think?
FL Studio. You buy
You
that
like
shit
FL
once.
Studio?
I've never used FL.
Yeah,
all I'm
that's true.
saying is,
Lifetime
but all I'm saying is like,
subscription
yeah, exactly.
So,
Like,
but what I'm saying is, will you be willing to give up everything else or further new equipment and try FL Studio before you pay for a firmware for a new piece of gear?
well, I like.
Well, you put it that way, people will.
I like old shit.
I would just
you
stay
know
where
what I'm
I'm
saying?
at.
I like
would
old
not just
stuff.
update the firmware.
Yeah, that too. And everything I got that's working
Bro,
now.
you buy every subscription in the world. You're
That's a
definitely
fact.
No, I'm not. I'm
You
not.
definitely buy a
Nah,
firmware.
I can tell.
My
I can even
MPC
tell
is
that
on the
one turned
old
Brian
firmware.
off. He was like,
yeah,
nah.
I'm really trying not to. That's what I'm saying. That one subscription I'm on, I don't like that feeling. Like, I try to buy stuff flat out. And then, so say MPC started doing it, then I'd be on what we're on now. What's it, 2.28 or 2.728,
like
whatever. Like I'd stop there. Like,
I'll keep it a buck with you. I would.
But what if they offer like the dopest shit upgrade in that firmware? See, that's where it differs for me. Because if you just fixing something you're supposed to fix, I got a problem with you trying to charge me. But if you
it can't be no soft
offering
synths. It can't be no more synthesizers or nothing like that.
sounds.
That's not going to do it.
But
like,
see, for me,
it would have to like do. I don't know what it like. What is?
All right,
I don't know
boom,
what I
I'ma
needed
tell you
to
right
do.
now,
You see what I'm
boom.
saying?
Boom, I'm going to tell you right now. Let's say Roland decides to put precise time stretch in those SPs. Would you pay for that firmware?
I don't have that SP.
I would. Well, if you had an SP.
So here's the thing. So here's what I think they should do. Now, if they're fixing something broke, that should be free. If they're adding a whole new service, I see like maybe paying a little bit of money for it, but it shouldn't be like more than like $5 or $10. Because here's the thing. So like if you look at Apple's model, they sell hardware. All their software is free. Every time if you buy a Mac, you can update up to a certain level. They want to sell more hardware because their hardware is so good. They were just giving out hardware and people keeping it for like 10 or 15 years. Now they're like, wait, we need to sell more hardware, so they put a cap on it. Okay, I get that part. But it's not like saying every month or every year. Like Windows is the total opposite. You can make a PC out of anything. You go in a trash bin, find some parts, throw a PC together. Then you need to buy the Windows program.
Only Bri would say that, right? You could just
No, I'm
make
just
a
saying
PC
no.
out of it.
No, I've done it.
but
I have a whole
real,
I have a whole
though.
box in the
Nah,
back. I could go make like 3 PCs today. You know what I'm saying? Have motherboards, have all the little parts. I could go throw those little gut pieces in, call it a day. But you need to pay for the operating system though. That's like a model that's already been, but it's because their hardware is not. Now, if you're paying for MPC hardware, you should get the free updates. Now, if it's MPC software, maybe do pay for the new updates. And that's how it is. On the software, you do have to pay to get the software from Beats to be in software. That's a charge.
Yeah,
if you
I
have
don't
an
fuck
MPC
with
and
the
you own it,
software ever.
it's free
But
though.
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I'm saying if you bought a piece of hardware, they're like, okay, we got you for like from $600 to $1,000. Here's your free license for the software. That makes sense.
Yeah.
but
Then look at the people who use MPCs. They've been around since the like 80s and 90s. Like my age, like at me, I'm not gonna keep on. I'm not gonna subscribe, and they're gonna lose a lot of people. So I think like doing something like that, that'd be kind of risky.
But all that's gonna do, like at least in my opinion, it's going to force people back towards like older gear, older hardware.
You already
stuff
getting
like
the
that.
SP400.
Like what Bryce just said. He said I would just stay with what I got.
Yo,
where I'm
yeah,
at.
that's a whole
My
fact.
MPC 2000 is not going to get updated at all. Guess what? I pull that joint out and I cook up beats all the time.
And that's and see, that's the thing I'm saying. If you're gonna charge me for firmware updates, like this new firmware update, it needs to do something like very revolutionary, because like I could go get a Korg Triton Extreme, right? And this is a keyboard I used to have, and to this day, like I be kicking myself for selling it, because like the sounds on it is so good, the sampler in there is so good. Hell, like I had the Moss board in there. I had a whole a virtual analog synthesizer inside this one keyboard, and I could have recorded vocals into the keyboard. You know what I'm saying? Let's not sleep on the effects that they had in there. You know what I'm saying? Like so if you are updating the firmware, and this joint can't like it needs to be able. I need to be able to play like a Jay-Z vocal in there, right? And then type words in, and it's going to then spit the verse and sound like Jay-Z spit that shit.
For the money.
Like I need some AI in my shit or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna charge me for the same shit that has been out since '99. You know what I mean? Like
That's where I'm going. Yeah, you can't resell the same thing that hardware. You just go get like any DAW does it, and then it's a million boxes that already do that. So what you gonna sell like an old feature to me?
all
That's
they
not
sell.
gonna fly at all.
Now all they selling you is convenience and how fast it does stuff. Because like with the tracker, right? The tracker, the only effects that I got on here is reverb, delay, and overdrive, and a bit crusher, like that you can like send the stuff to live effects. Everything else you gotta render the effects. You know what I'm saying? So you got a chorus on there, you gotta render it, normalize, render it. I mean, you always gotta render it, normalize. But like when you're doing that, the longer the file is, the longer it takes for it to happen. You know what I'm saying? And so like, and there's something about that for me I actually like. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta wait. Like, oh, well, let me render this and run to the kitchen and get something to drink real quick, and I come back and it'll be done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something about that I like. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like if you, like you said, if you just selling me like you selling me like I just feel like they're selling convenience. Like you're selling you stuff like, oh, we could do what this one does. It does it in a second. You know what I'm saying? But I had Pro Tools, I think 5, and Pro Tools 5 was like the time stretch on that was silly. You know what I'm saying? I was running that on a Dell laptop. You know what I'm saying? That's when I first learned about time stretch. I remember I made a remix tape, and I had a loop that I wanted that was one tempo, but the acapella was another. And that's our first. Let's let you grab the end of it and boop, pull that motherfucker to it was 4 bars, but it was like short, and you pulled it to the 4 bars and it clipped, and I was like, oh shit, and it was and the time stretch it immediately. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if you're not selling me like something new, like the thing need to be, as I'm recording the sample, it need to be able to tell me what the BPM is, what the tempo is, what the BPM is, what key it's in, what notes is in that key, you know, and how much sample time I got, and it shit should take my temperature too. Like, bro, you reaching COVID levels.
The baseline for being over money should be like the full blown Koala. If you can't do what the full blown Koala does, you shouldn't charge any money. Period. Like now that's what's it, like $13.99 or something. The Samurai pack, and then $3.99 for the app. So $15 app that could go on your phone or PC. If you can't do more than that can do, don't charge money.
That's a good point.
It goes on your pocket. You can carry it. You always have it with you. You can chop up at any time.
Speaking of Koala, big shout outs to Rob Victim. He's been tagging us in his Koala post, and like the one thing he posted, he was like how you could I didn't know you could do this. You could export MPC. Koala like to the pads or MPC. Fam, I'm so sick right now. Like
any files. Yeah, you could take any files you want out of any of those.
Nah, but I didn't know you could. I didn't know you could export like the pads in the sequence. Like See, I did that years ago with iMachine, but iMachine was so like meh. You know what I mean? Compared like cause iMachine is like even like the pitching, like it was like by percentage or something like that. It wasn't like, you know, it was like a fine tune pitching or something like that. It wasn't like, oh, go down a semitone, 2 semitones or whatever. So like, you know, so making a beat on the phone was always a little difficult. But like if you knew your tempos and everything like that going into it, you could make something happen. And so like I did maybe like 1 or 2 joints like that, but like Koala, like to me, Koala, like you would start the whole beat, finish the whole beat in there, you know what I mean? Like obviously mixing and stuff, you want to take it somewhere else if you want to, you know, if you know, unless you want to like nice little like dusty 2-track, like, and I don't mean dusty like in a bad way, I mean like, you know, way, yeah, you know, but like nah, like the fact that I could like literally take that joint and run, like I could have it, and then I could export the sequence into the MPC, man, listen. That
yeah.
So I pay for that update. That's the update I pay for.
See, if
I think I already did. I already did pay for that update. As a matter of fact,
we paid for the Samurai update, yeah, before it was that detailed, because it was still good then. But then when they put all that in there, oh man,
man, Koala was dope before it even added any of that extra stuff. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that shit was dope.
I bought the effects too.
I wish they would fix that time stretch issue on that SP, man. It's just, it's not usable. It's not, I don't know. And the fucked up shit is I couldn't even tell you because I didn't really, all I did in there was some drums. So before I did the firmware update. So I didn't get a chance to really mess with samples like that hard body to see if it was doing that before the firmware. The time stretch shit, because it's just, I don't know, it's a mess. And that crashing shit, I know definitely didn't happen before that firmware.
Do you know what's crazy though? I seen the prices of the previous model, they have increased like within the last like month or so. Like
really, because they had went down. Remember they went down.
Yeah, when motherfuckers was getting rid of them shits. So I should have copped one back then, like just for the fuck of it. Cause people trying to get rid of them shits. They was like, oh
yeah, they were.
SP404 $20.
And I was gonna sell mine, and I saw the prices was cheaper by 100. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'll hold it. It's not in my way.
Yeah, nah, this shit's going for like 500 now.
Even though it's giving me little problems now, I do have faith, and if you were gonna buy a SP, I would recommend the newest one. I wouldn't tell you to buy the A because you can do so much more. It's just a matter of it working right.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I feel like if I was to get one, it would be like to do what I was like talking about before,
with
like
the 202.
Nah, the 202 is like
because you that's like an effects board for you basically now too. You can't really do much in
the
that.
202 is like I run samples into it because I want to dirty them shits up, and then I sample it right out. Like I do not like I'm not sending no MIDI to the 202. That joint plays like a sample at a time, maybe 2 if I'm lucky. You know what I mean? If I what's it called? If I don't have any effects running, so the 202 has like, you know, like a filter, a delay, and like a couple other effects on there, but it's not nothing too crazy. But like if you recorded a sample like in a high quality or whatever, I'm pretty sure like that eats up the polyphony. If you record a sample in stereo, you know that eats up polyphony. You know what I mean? That thing is like literally for like you gonna play a loop. And then you gonna stop that loop and play another loop. You know what I mean? It's a yak back sampler basically. You know what I mean? Like you might press a button and, you know, like let that shit run out. But you ain't like, oh son, I'm about to play this set with this 202. Like nah. I know somebody in the comments about to be like, I do sets with 202 all the time. I'm like, all right, well, shit. Put me on, bro. Put me on.
No, I do have to. This week I'm gonna dive into the DJ mode on the new SP. So I'll let you know because that looks pretty fun.
No, I can't lie. That DJ mode joint, like I was reading, because you know every day I go on and I'll be reading about all these machines that we have or we were supposed to get. You know, no shade.
Right.
You know, and like, cause that's dead ass. Like, like every time I see the joint come up, like I'll be like, if I
made
find
a good decision so far until it starts to work right. You
I mean,
made a good decision. You know what? Still?
There's one on eBay for a stack right now for $980 from Japan.
Don't say no shit like that, because this shit will be repackaged and sold tonight. I'm dead. I swear to my kids, if I see a 900... Wait, I'm about to look right now.
I will send you the
because
posting.
if I see that shit, this shit is going on eBay tonight.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh, nah.
1088.
Bye-bye.
With $50 shipping. This joint is coming from...
Bye-bye. She's out of here. I'm packing her up.
This one's coming from Japan. And I think most of them that's on here, like here's another one that's $850 in the box.
Because what I paid $533, right? $533, the exact number. Yeah, nah, she's out of here.
This one coming from Japan as well. And the fact that you well, hold on. I'm a really. You know what? I'm gonna work you up to that one. Hold on. This one $945, and this one is shipping from Japan, USA. All right, hold on. You got another one for you. 1034.38 with $1.10 shipping. Where's this shipping from? Oh wait, let me prove it.
The corner, the bodega.
This one is shipping from Osaka, Japan as well. And see, this is the one I told you I was gonna work you up to it, right? Can you see that price?
Is it $1,300?
Oh my God, they're not selling that no $13.
Leave it on
that joint is going nowhere. Ain't nobody's buying this for $1,500. I mean, it say $1,328, but that to me that's $15. You know what I mean? It's somebody that's gonna buy it for $15, but it's not gonna be anybody that listens to this show.
Nah.
Facts.
It'll sit there. They'll just wait until they'll get an email, but like somebody put a bid on your thing because you got the last one out there.
Yeah, that shit's
It'll happen within a year.
That shit's going on eBay tonight.
I guarantee you undersell all these people, you gonna get all your bread back and then some.
And some.
The cheapest I see on here is $850. So.
It's like a PlayStation.
$849, Bob.
$849.99.
99.
Yeah.
Plus shipping.
Easy.
Well, I always put insurance on everything I send out when it comes to gear, just because you can fucking make a come up if your shit gets lost or stolen. Because I think it's $15 for $500 insurance.
Man, listen.
That's the plan I usually get.
Good
so
thing.
if I'm sending out like a $200,
listen, lucky I don't know any mailmen, because I'd be like, hey, here, look out for this tracking number and throw that shit in the river.
Facts. Right. I be praying they lose that shit sometimes.
So the man in 28. Hey, look, you can lose this shit. You can lose this shit. Like what?
Matter of fact, I just did
especially
that
after
for
what
the
we saw
beatboxers.
after what we saw in LA this last week.
Wait, what happened in LA?
Off the side of them train tracks of real man.
Wait, what happened?
People robbing the trains when they stop right there on break or whatever they doing, and people just all you see is like thousands of cardboard packages all over.
Look, it looked like a landfill, didn't it?
Yeah, shit's bugged out.
Yo, you seen that shit? They said a tornado touchdown in LA last night.
Word?
Yeah, ripped the tree up out the ground and everything.
Damn.
Yeah, in LA, like a tornado in LA, like that is some weird shit. That's
the world is. Yeah.
If that ain't
this
no
environment all the way up.
If that ain't no damn Wizard of Oz shit.
Hold my beer.
Cypha is used to that shit. Sometimes I call Cypha, what you doing?
Like,
Oh, I'm just boarding up the windows.
It took a tree.
No, I'm just saying, because, it's LA. Like, they usually get earthquakes and shit like that. Cause